Hey everyone, John here. This is going to be a bit of a different video. It's going to be a full nerd video where I'm looking at how I can combine what we're building in whatifi with OpenAI's virtual assistants that they just released this particular week. So yeah, they're called an assistant. It's part of their custom GPTs right now. Now, anyone's not familiar with our software, just to be really kind of quick, it is this node-based connect the dot type software for building business scenarios there. So it's no different than what you're doing in a spreadsheet where you have rows and columns of information, but instead we have these pre-built blocks. So challenge right now is if someone's trying to build a model like income, for example, and they're trying to put in an income event, they have to come in here, click on the box, open up the thing, and fill in a bunch of the values here. Start dates, end dates, names, all of this sort of stuff. And if they have an expense, they need to do the same thing as well. Fill all that information in, refer back. What was the date I put in that? What was that date I put in that? And carrying that logic on, we have a whole bunch of other types of events, loans, debt repayments, or maybe we're building customer funnels, so customers and growth and churn and campaigns. And some of these can have a lot of information that kind of goes into them. The information that we need that comes out of this are these JSON blobs. So basically, something like an income event, for example, requires, and this is super simplified, but a name, a start date, an end date, a cadence or frequency, and a value. And there's a bunch of rules, that's acceptable, which cadences we kind of currently support, whether a value is required or optional. Something like an expense event is very similar, but we also support amortization there. So here we can say it's an ongoing expense, or it's a one-time expense with a 2 months, 3 months, 6 months sort of cadence to that one as well. So ultimately, that's what we're doing is when someone goes and fills in a value here, they're really filling out all the information in that JSON file, and then we use that to create the actual event and fill in all the numbers. So what I'm interested in is trying to see if we can make this so much more conversational based. So instead, someone comes in and says, hey, whatifi, I'm looking at, and I'm going to use an example, opening up a lemonade stand. And you get into a question and answer type prompt to be able to kind of get to that end result on things. Right? So looking at what I've been able to do so far, I've been spending some time in ChatGPT's assistant section here, and I built our first GPT. So this GPT has some instructions for it, and I'm going to share those instructions. All right, so this is my assistant right now. What I've done is I have pre-written out some instructions here, and I've been tweaking that a little bit over the last hour or so, and it's highly responsive. Long and short, this is the schema for the JSON blob that I just sort of showed you before. The name, the start dates, the end dates, whether something is required or not, asking it to infer data where it makes sense on things. And then I've given it some rules, where possible, try to infer missing information, make logical kind of connections. For dates and values that align with existing related events, use context to infer those fields. Prompt the user for missing information, try and fill in the blanks. Required formats to make sure it's the right sort of structure for things. When it's all done, give a simple natural language summary of this one, and then also provide the JSON files. So that's what I've kind of put together pretty quick for our particular instance here. So here, I'm going to clear one out, and let's kind of run one from scratch. And I've learned lots of things as I'm doing this already, and I'm not a fast typer, but here we go. So, hey, whatifi, and we're going to run that. I tried to get it to be concise and not overload the user with too many questions there. So it kind of comes in with some basic questions, how much you expect to sell per day, prices, all of these sort of things. And I don't know some of this, which is half the challenge when someone's trying to fill out a model, is you then have to kind of go and look for all this information online or look at your research, and it can really slow down that process. So instead, I'm going to say something here like, I plan to sell 100 cups a day, 6 days a week, all right? And we can use that information as a starter point. All right. And this is, it's asking me how much I plan to charge for this one, start and end dates, all these sort of things. So I have no idea how much to charge. And I love that it's kind of giving me some ideas and things to think about as I kind of build out the model, almost like a consultant on things. So it's gone through and it's kind of estimating how much a price would be. Let's assume we sell for 3 months. Now you notice I'm not really answering all of its questions kind of verbatim on there, but I'm kind of getting to some of those. So it's kind of calculating some values here, and I'm going to give it, sometimes it's actually gone and just decided on a price for me after kind of giving me some of the ranges there. But you can see it's already kind of created the JSON file here. So one which is 100 a day and one is 300 a day, and this is the price per cup at $3 per cup and $1 a cup. So it's telling me my kind of revenue. So I'm going to say, let's go with $2.50 per cup. All right. And now it's going to complete the information required for this file, probably. Let me know that there's going to be 19,500. And you can see it's calculating a daily cadence here right now, which is pretty cool. All right, so now it's talking about prices for the things we need. And so I'm going to say, please estimate. All right, so it's gone and done this estimation for a bunch of our costs that are here. And I'm going to say yes. I also like that it's setting permits and some of the setup as a one-time cost as well. So it's already breaking this transaction down into this sort of multiple segments for me. All right, so now I've got, what do I've got here? I've got, oh, it's still writing some more stuff. Let this finish off. It's even trying to calculate some profits, which I've known it's done in the past here. I'm going to ignore that for a second here because that's actually something we do in our software. So now it's gone through and it's pre-created ongoing costs for ingredients on a daily basis and figuring out what that's going to be. And it's also given us our one-time setup costs at the same time for the beginning of the summer, which I think is fantastic. So it's giving me everything I need now to build my model. And I'm going to say now, please summarize this. We'll see if it barfs a little bit on the, here's what the projected income. You plan to sell lemonade at $2.50 a cup, 100 a day for 78 days, 19,000 income over that period of time. The ongoing expenses, it's even doing a profit calculation. It's there. And lastly, I'm going to say, please provide the JSON, the completed JSON files. And this is really what the output ultimately that we're going to need to be able to then build these in our scenario. So this will come through in a second. It's pretty exciting for me, to be honest with you, and I can see the sort of flexibility there. Here's everything required with a bunch of inferences and filling in a bunch of the blanks there for all of this information for us to be able to model out a lemonade stand next summer there. And then again, that would sort of drop into our logic here, and we'd see an income event and two expense events that match that out. Anyway, just sort of sharing the experience there for anyone who is starting to kind of go down this road. Super cool, super promising, and super exciting. And I will update occasionally as we build out more. Thanks.